We are the Hollywood Paranormal Detectives.
I always end up dancing through my intro because I get so excited. What's up, everybody? We're back again. This is week number 3. Can you believe it? We're staying strong and keeping it going. And I can't do any of it without my right-hand man, Mr. Brian Ray.
Hey!
There he is.
Hi, everybody.
My trusty steed, Brian, with me as always. How are you today, Brian?
I'm pretty darn good.
You're looking good, my friend. And we're going to bring in, it still says 3GD, but we're going to change that to an HPD. I'm going to say her name 3 times to make her appear. Emily.
Whoa!
There she
It's
is.
gonna be 3GD. It's never gonna be HPD. It's gonna be 3GD. Sorry.
How are you doing? Shout out to 3GD.
Yes. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm COVID-free now, but now we're working through it. Conjure up
COVID,
our
don't cost
own
nothing.
little... What, Brian?
You said you're COVID free. I said have some COVID. Don't cost nothing.
We're going to conjure up the newest member of our team, our own little media, Miss Mandy.
Sup?
All right, Mandy's here. How are you doing?
I gotta get a cool backdrop like Mandy has.
I know, Mandy's always out in space.
Although I like your little thing behind you.
Yeah, Brian's got some...
He's got some cool things.
You guys, here we go. This is it. We will probably never have a guest this important. We will probably never have a guest this professional and nice. If you do not know who this lady is, paranormal community, you are already dead. Tonight, we are going to have...
And if you're dead, you probably know who she is, too.
That's right. I'm going to bring her up so she can hear all the great things I'm going to say about her. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Patti Negri.
Hi, guys.
Yay.
Thank you. I'm blessed.
You're not worthy.
Welcome, Patty.
You guys.
Patty,
are
I'm going to
really-
say all these great things about you. Patty, you are the hardest working woman in the ghost business. That is without a doubt. You are the go-to psychic medium for the #1 rated ghost hunting show, Ghost Adventures. On top of that, you are a best-selling author with your book, Old World Magic for the Modern World. Best-selling author, #1 psychic medium. On top of that, you have your own weekly podcast, The Witching Hour. On top of that, you teach psychic... I'm trying to get it off. You teach psychic medium classes on houseofintuition.com. You teach with Nick from Paraflix in his paranormal school. You have been on countless television shows, including Beverly Hills Pawn, MasterChef, Flipping Out, and most recently that little stint on A Little Late with Lily Sy on NBC. You are the president of the American Federation of Certified Psychic Mediums. You are a CEO at Paraflix. You are also you also work with some of the biggest influencers in social media, including TFIL and TikTok influencers like Miss Haley Michelle. And on top of that, you always find time to text back and hang out with people like Hollywood Paranormal Detectives. Welcome to the show, Patty.
Thank you. I love Hollywood
She was also in an
Paranormal.
awesome episode of Hollywood Paranormal Detective.
Yes.
I love Hollywood Paranormal Detectives. We're Hollywood. We're all Hollywood. We got to stick together. And
We
by
have
the way,
that connection.
yeah, I just want to correct one little thing.
Oh.
It is no longer Haunted Diary School. We have started a legit school. I mean, legit is paranormal. It's called University Magicus with Nick, who used to be Haunted Diary, and Father Sebastian, who I met on Ghost Adventures. So we have a legit running like 10 classes a week school now. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's so cool.
A real life.
I don't know
Hogwarts.
anyone who is working that hard. That is
Yeah.
amazing.
Thanks.
Let me get to my first questions. I mean,
Okay.
just sort of to go with that, you are such a hard worker. You know, like the way The Rock gets up at 4 a.m. and goes straight to the gym and get everything done before 8 a.m. and then starts another person's week. What is your schedule? Like, how do you keep all of that work in check, and how do you prioritize yourselves? What are your Patty secrets to working so hard?
Nobody needs sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. No, I won't sleep when I'm dead. I will not sleep. No, I schedule my time. I really do. I get up every day at 7 a.m. period. Every day at 7. I teach a free workout class 6 days a week up at Lake Hollywood, Monday through Saturday. About 3 days a week, I do private readings for people. I still do that, unless there's filming or something coming up. I just schedule. My Google Calendar looks like a plethora of just, and I schedule pretty much 7 days a week and pretty much 7 evenings a week, pretty much. This year, last year for COVID year, I traveled a lot. This year, it's going to be like Ireland and Romania and the UK and like 12 stops in the US. So I'm really excited. I don't know. It's just scheduling. That's all you have to do is, right? Literally I read shower 9 to 9:05 because if I don't put it on the book, I forgot. Did I shower? Did I go to the bathroom? I don't know. Feed the dog. Okay.
Yeah. It is so impressive. I'm very, Emily makes fun of me because I don't sleep and I have 50 side projects, and on top of, I fill up these little yellow legal pads with just everything, and I have papers of legal pads everywhere. Let's start at the beginning. I've heard so many interviews with you, and I've already know so much, and I know you've said that you've been a student of kind of all practices, all religions, the occult, paganism. Just where you could study how it worked. And you said you've been doing seances since you were 7 years old. With all of that kind of just like research, at what point did you realize like, I don't need a career. I've got my career going already. When did you realize like this passion of yours is going to be a business, and how could someone use your story to follow in your footsteps?
I never did. I with accident. No. I've always been who I am since I was 13, and I discovered I wanted to figure out what my gift was, and my mom said I could do anything I wanted, so I started going, checking out church, Christian church, Buddhist church, temple, that. Oh, the pagan path. Oh, the Wiccan path. Oh no, this path. And so I became a seeker and a searcher. But I never thought that was a career at all. Didn't think that would be. I've been a nurse. I'm an EMT, which helps in big investigations, specialize in cardiology, heart stuff, EMT. So paramedic. I've been in retail. I ran a production company for 20 years, called Brain Brew Entertainment, and how it actually happened. And then this world was separate. My witchy world was separate. My psychic medium world, doing seances again since I was a kid. But I'm like, my production company is called Brain Brew Entertainment. I still have it, but it was pretty corporate. We worked with corporate like banks and Mattel, and like you're teaching, working with the HR department, and I just do big song and dance extravaganzas and comedy, big musical comedy sketches. And I'm like, teaching motivation, teaching sales techniques, kind of really early for the day. Now everything is like this immersive, but we were early on it. But I'm just like, these people cannot know, like I dance around, bonfires in a cloak and talk to dead people. They just really don't think that would be good. But in 2008, there was that big crash, the big economic corporate crash, and corporate entertainment became a dirty word. Nobody wanted to, because it was so misused. They thought, oh, money spent for corporate meant hookers and a jet. I'm like, no, we're doing ethics jeopardy to oilmen. No, so it just crashed. It just really, my shows, I was doing murder mysteries and scavenger hunts and song and dance, and it just crashed. And at the same time, reality was pumping up there. And I was always an actor. I was always a dancer. So I was always in entertainment. But somebody who I knew asked me, they go, Patti, we've got this TV show. It's a reality show. We really need somebody legit to do a seance. We need a legit lifting of the veil. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't do that. That's my private life. Like, please. And I'm like, no. And I'm looking at my empty calendar going, no, I can't really. No, this is no. And they're, please, come on. I know how good this is so good. You're going to help people with it. And I'm like, looking at the empty calendar, and I go, well, what show is it? And they go, I swear, I almost word for word, they go, well, it's called Mobile Home Disaster, and it's on country music television. Exactly. I go, nobody's going to watch that. who would watch again? This is before anybody would watch anything, before reality took over. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And then I went out, and it was like the funnest thing I'd ever done. It combined my on-camera work with my improv and sketch, and more than anything, legitimately doing my gift. I did get to help this little human girl. I get to help the spirit. She had drawn literally this vortex on the roof of their trailer home, mobile home where they lived. And they all thought she was crazy. I'm like, no, that's a vortex. She drew it. It's there. And it was so much fun. But I'm like, never again. Damn, it was fun, but never again. You're going to follow me around with 3 cameras and go where I want to go and say what I want to say, and it be legit. And I don't have to memorize lines, and it's like heaven, but never again. So it went out, and when it aired, and it was like, oh, that was fun. That was cute. But no, nobody's going to watch it. The very next day, I get a call from my biggest corporate client. Very next day, and it's a national bank I work with. She's like, "Hi, Patti. I saw you on TV last night." I'm like, "Oh," as my voice gets higher. She goes, "I didn't know you were in the paranormal." I'm like, "Yeah." My voice gets higher. She goes, "I love the paranormal. Oh my God, I've been following this," and I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, that's it. I'm out of the broom closet. I'm out of the psychic medium closet. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is more fun than, motivation for oil men. And so it took a flip. I still have my production company, but that never picked back up to that extent. And this was like, oh my God, this really is my passion. This is, I really do. My little message of empowerment, it's not believe this or believe that. My whole gig is about how amazing we humans are. And if you're not feeling that power, take it back. We have it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's it. So I fell into it completely.
And I had not heard the mobile home story. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And that was my first time seeing, reality folks and fun. You guys are paranormal people. Cameras drain. This stuff happens. Weird stuff happens. They don't. Like, what happened to the battery? Why are the lights flickering? Really? Okay. And then the sweat that, drips down there, the cast who's like really not used to the paranormal. They're not sure about this weird person chanting and burning herbs.
Well, and how long until that led to Ghost Adventure stuff?
A while. I mean, I did tons of stuff paranormal and not before Ghost Adventures. Ghost Adventures happened in 2015 or 2016. I think I've been doing it 6 or 7 years. And it was almost again a fluke. They were doing the Hollywood version, the Haunted Hollywood, and they were filming at the American Legion Hall, right in Hollywood Highland, beautifully haunted. And they had heard that I had talked to Charlie Chaplin. I'm on the board of the Hollywood Arts Council, by the way. We bring art into all the elementary schools. It's a nonprofit. So we do. Every year I would do a spirit salon, not like what you guys get down and dirty. We're formals, and I walk them around with maybe a K2 meter and show them beautiful haunted. And my husband's jazz band plays, and everybody's in tuxedos. But we had done this at the Hollywood at the American Legion, and while during that, I had this full-on conversation with Charlie Chaplin at this one stool. Wow. Little beknownst to me, the guy who managed the club, I was standing right at the stool where Charlie Chaplin sat every night or every Friday night, and he was just blown away. He didn't even say anything to me. So they told Ghost Adventures, when they're always saying, what experiences have you had? Oh, we have this ghost and we have that ghost. And it was literally, there was some medium here. One's doing a local Hollywood doing this thing, and she pointed this out. So that's why I was called in. It would have been just like every episode that they have, where they have either the local psychic medium come in or the local person who just experienced something. It was supposed to be a one-time interview. Mm-hmm. But I don't even know. They figured out who I was by just now my reputation, or because that's all I did there. I didn't do seances or lifting of the veil, but I just kind of became the go-to. Then it's, we need you for a seance here. Oh, go to the Black Dahlia. Oh, go to Pacita. Oh, go to Chatsworth. Oh, go to Scottsdale. Let's go back to the museum and back to the museum and back. So it's great because I never know what I'm getting into. I never know where I'm going. And I like a challenge.
Well, sort of expanding on that, talk a little about what it's like for, let's say, a Ghost Adventures assignment. Like, what do they tell you? What is the situation like? And could compare them as a TV crew to some of the other like reality shows and crews you work with. What's different from working with a TV crew, and what's different from like people just trying to gather their evidence? And yeah.
Well, it's spread out a little bit because, like, say, a Ghost Adventures episode takes 4 days. There's one B crew that goes in and shoots the mantelpiece and does somebody, the B interviews, and then back of the guys come one day. But the investigation itself is pretty much the same. It's very much. I have a theater background where everybody does everything. You're the actor, you're the seamstress, you move your own props, you set your own lights. That's what Ghost Adventures is still like. Yeah. It doesn't matter that they're in their 28th year. Aaron moved the lights. Zach directs, he stars, he executive produces. He's pretty amazing. Whatever anybody says about him, he's amazing that he can keep his focus. He is there. It is legit. So you do what you do. You do what you do and you go into it. I never, ever know what I'm getting into. If I know what I'm getting into, they don't have me do an investigation. Like I sent them to Reseda House of Evil. So they just had me introduce it. They didn't want anything that could look done before. I told them about my friend Richard Lael at Pasadena. So if they just had me introduce it. Some I send them to, I don't have them on. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like, here's an address. Even with the Cecil Hotel, I remember Zach called me on my cell. He goes, Patti, we're going to come into LA and we need you. Okay, great. And then I didn't hear from him for 2 weeks, which is normal. And then 2 weeks later, I met my brothers. I'm down in Long Beach, so I'm like 30 miles away. And he calls. He goes, Patti, okay, we need you now. Can you be here in 2 hours? And I'm like, 2 hours? Did I wash my hair today? Did I have time to put on makeup? What? We're girls. You guys know.
Yeah.
It's like 2 hours. I'm not even home.
No.
And I don't think he said Cecil. I think he gave me an address. He's downtown LA and blah, 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 whatever, Main Street. Okay. So I'm just running home to get my stuff, my little witchy basket, and try to brush my hair. And then I get there and I go, oh, I saw the Cecil, and all I knew, I didn't research because I won't ever research. I saw the sign and I go, oh, that's the water tower girl. That's the water tower girl. So I knew that. I didn't know anything else though. So I parked, and it's like Skid Row. It's down there, and I'm walking up, and a rat wouldn't let me in. I'd go right, the rat would go right, go left. We were dancing out in the street, and I'm like, the rat's possessed, or maybe he wants to protect me. I don't know, because the building was coming in on me already. So again, finally I got past the rat, talked to the damn rat, and I get in, and the building is just, that place is really like the darkest place ever. The desperation, the sadness, it's like you're underwater. And I'm coming in and I'm already going to trance state because I allow myself that there. And then up they pop, all cameras already strapped on, everything. Okay, Patti, here we go. Here's the elevator. There, and literally he goes, there's 14 floors, there's 700 rooms, they're all open. You tell us where to go.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like, wow, as I'm already going, so that's where as a medium Mandy, that's where the faith comes in. I walked in the elevator, pressed the right button, took them to the right room. And then I'm literally going, and I'm in trance state. So this is like dream state, the kind of trance I do there. So I'm walking and I get a little high voice, and I go to the window and I'm opening the window. I'm just, I need air. I got to get out of here. But all I remember is Zach yelling at me. He's going, what are you doing? Sit down, close the window. And I had no idea why. I'm just kind of going, why is he yelling at me? He's never yelled at me before. That's so weird. I just got to get out of here. I had, unbeknownst to me completely, I led them to a room where somebody had jumped out that exact window. And I guess they thought I was going to jump out that window. I'm like, I don't think I would. I don't know. So he got me out of there. And then I took him to somewhere some lady was raped and murdered. As I'm going, he's like, what's happening? I'm like, and I'm thinking in my head, the part of me that's still Patti going, how do you say that body part on television? I don't know. Lady parts, I don't know. So yeah, it's always an adventure.
Wow. And that's sort of like my appeal to that show back in the day always was, I could tell it was 3 guys, 3 cameras.
Yeah.
And no matter what anyone says, like, you can't fake being alone in a crawl space.
No,
like
you can't.
Like, no matter what people say, you are alone in this crawl space. And it's neat to sort of know now, because I try to, when we do our investigations, I sort of try to like kind of I've been explaining it to Emily, like going into combat, like we like get our cameras, get our equipment, and we're going in for like 2 hours and coming out. Like I don't want to set up stuff. I don't want to get anything ready or go in first. Like I don't even want to open the door until we're like armed to the teeth with our equipment. And that's neat to know they still kind of do it that way.
They still do.
Yeah.
So you think they've earned it? Definitely, they're being the #1 ghost hunting show,
And they're committed. I think the reason people will make fun of them sometime, like, puppy. Sorry, squirrel. The people make fun of them because they are 120% committed. It's like, you see little 8-year-olds playing in the sandbox or whatever. That's why that enthusiasm they have, it's all real because it's all real. Yeah. And they've got it cranked up.
And I've always liked that they debunk stuff, but they're going in as believers, which I think you have to a little bit. Oh, purpose. Man, it leads right into my next question. So now for a tech-based ghost hunter, we would go in looking for evidence of ghosts to prove it through documenting with our equipment. But as a medium, you already see things and know things. What equipment do you think is best to prove what you feel and see? What equipment can you utilize to bring what you're seeing and feeling to reality and evidence?
Any of it is amazing because it's like I've been saying this for decades and now you see it. But the one that blows me away every time is an SLS camera. As an SLS camera, because I'll be doing a seance or something in a dining room table, and I'll literally go, the ghost is going like this with his arms. But how you don't know that, you don't believe he's going like this, and then he's going like he's crossing it up. And then they either believe me or they don't believe me. But now Billy or Jay's in another room. They can't see me. And on the SLS camera, there's a little ghost doing this exact thing that I say. And you go, raise your right hand, raise your right hand, raise your left hand. It's like, yes, that's what I have been seeing. Yeah. Thank you, little green stick people.
So you finally feel that now you have something that can prove your visuals.
At least more so. If a skeptic's still going to be a skeptic. You could have, somebody floating 10 feet off the floor of the burning bush of Moses, and somebody who's skeptic is going to be a skeptic. But this really shows if we're completely separated and don't know what's going on, and we're getting the same stuff. Or like this little ball. I have this little crystal ball. It's a trip. It's got some bugs in it. It's like an ovulus, but it looks like an old-fashioned crystal ball built by a friend. This thing is wild. It'll go answer the phone, and the phone will ring. It's like,
oh wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
Just like our, I don't know if everybody's seen it. Our LA Zoo Walk. The old LA Zoo Walk. For what you took us through, and then. Because of our scheduling and weather, we didn't go back for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So we didn't even go back that night. And to get at that spot where you said the boy fell and hit his head, it said, Stephen, it's the boy. I fell, my head. Like, we got such exact things to what you said that it was unbelievable. And when I edited it, like my hair all just shot out like rockets.
I love that.
Mandy, do you have any questions now that we're getting going? She's new to our team, but she's had medium feelings most of her life since her young age. Do you have any questions or like?
Actually, since you brought up trance, I just completed a mentorship in trance, and I'm trying to figure out how to utilize that in investigations without having to go, like when they teach you trance, you're sitting down, you're going into that state, but I want to utilize it while I'm actively moving around. So can you touch on that a little bit of your process for that?
Yeah, it's actually just practice. Like you learn what you learned it sitting down in controlled atmosphere. But the thing is when you get on investigations, again, you're not sitting down, you're going in. But that was just kind of practice, but there's a million different methods and I don't know the method that you did, but keep a larger percent of yourself, you if you're going into some place like the Cecil Hotel or the prison or the serial killer's house, because they channel different than grandma. They trance different than, the spirit guides or whatever. It's a whole different thing. When I was with, at the Cecil again with TFIL, I thought I was talking, and it was definitely a drug guy that I was channeling. And but I thought I was talking, and I was rocking back and forth. I rock anyway, that's my gig. But I was rocking so hard that somebody had to put their hand behind my head. And I thought that 15, 20% that was Patti. I thought I was talking, blah, 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 blah. All they heard was blah, 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 blah. I could that guy, and then they just thought it was gibberish. But Corey, who's pretty smart, and I've been teaching him too. I've been teaching them all this stuff. He goes, "We should play that backwards." They played it backwards. I was speaking English backwards.
What?
That's something you should put on your resume. It's like, can I put that on my resume? Because I can't do my alphabet backwards. If I was ever like arrested and they say, so do your alphabet backwards, it's like, I haven't drank in 3 weeks and I can't do it. YX. No. And I was talking backwards and they flipped it backwards. And it was like, whatever I said, I've got to do. I'm so sorry. It was,
wow.
Because the other side in all experience is reverse, it's reverse. It's mirror image and there's no time and space. So it was like, that was a trip. So, but hold on to it. Don't give your whole self away at all. Have your out button, have your, this present as me at any time I can push you out.
Okay. Cool.
And you'll just get it. You'll just do it.
Yeah.
Start.
So as a group, what is the best way for us to utilize someone like Mandy in an investigation? Should we send her in alone? Should we give her equipment? Should we? What would be best way to use someone?
Well, the best way is the way that works for you guys and the way that works with her gift, because every medium has different gifts. What I usually do, and what Zach does, or even the TFIL boys, they send me in alone and no equipment without knowing what happened where at all. Maybe dowsing rods are the most thing I'll take because I'm just a dowsing rod girl. Okay, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go over here. Oh, yeah, that's something. Just
you using your dowsing rods is so impressive. I don't know how to even explain it to someone who hasn't. The way you can like almost pocket knife them in and whip them out, and then like
I'm weird.
And you're so steady and confident in them, and it's like I've never seen anyone use them like that. Kudos, that's just amazing.
Yeah,
sorry.
So that's the most I will go in with, or a chime, because there's a way a spirit rings you could read by the chime vibration. But that's it. No electronic. No, I can't. That will mess up the
channel.
The spirit, the channel. So, yeah. And then I'll go, okay, murder in 3B and this and whatever it was, And
now,
then,
do you ever like to do that? Go in and try to cut yourself off and see if you can use equipment and see if you can sort of test yourself without your abilities and see if you can almost use something as a lightning rod.
You mean go in and take something like
almost like take a spirit box or take something and see if like in your hands does it become twice as powerful because you can
it will. It will. Spirit boxes have, REM pods have, but not. I don't know for the first walkthrough. At least for me, somebody else might be completely different. For me, I want to go in naked, so to speak. For me to really what I experience going on, I don't want flashing lights and anything electro. So I can, it's subtle. It's that feeling what you're getting. If you're going like this with something, you might get words, you might get, I need silence.
So maybe we'll start doing, I know when we brought you, that was sort of why I wanted to keep it separate. I wanted to walk it with you and then I wanted to go back and walk it with our equipment. So maybe, I know Mandy she's a budding medium, but she's also breaking in with her equipment and she's wanting to investigate also. So maybe we'll do both with you. We'll have you do a walk and then have you come along afterwards and like see which one draws you the most.
I mean, it's hard to find that balance sometimes, especially when you can do both. Like I love the equipment and I want to play around with that. But I also realize sometimes if I'm too focused on the equipment, I'm not listening, I'm not hearing, I'm not feeling. And so that kind of gets pushed off to the side. So it's like it's that balancing act.
It's a dance.
It's a dance.
I'm coming up with like a game plan to maybe like
Yeah.
send you and Brian with his SLS in as a team, and then me and Emily like go behind you room to room, and then we rewatch the evidence and see like Brian with SLS not telling you what he's getting, you know, and then when we get out, we're like, well, every time you said that, this thing appeared and this, and then me and Emily go behind you, and we got all this evidence that corroborates everything.
Yeah, that's
Love
close
it.
to what we do on Ghost Adventures and with TFA and some of my new awesomeness kids. Yeah.
What's next? Patti, vampires.
I can put my
Vampires
fangs
are
in.
a big part of your world. You
love it.
are going to Romania with the Mysterious Adventures tours to celebrate the 125th anniversary of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I am.
This is a 10-day, 9-night Dracula lover's dream, paranormal lover's dream vacation.
What?
You're going with Father Sebastian and James Enoit.
Yeah.
And that's May 24th through June 2nd.
What? That is so cool.
That
I know.
sounds like the greatest thing. I begged my parents to like, I'll skip the next 2 Christmases and birthdays. I think I might have even asked Paraflix if they'd send me to document it. Like,
Come on.
I just that sounds like a dream come true. Tell me
I
a
am
little bit about what you have planned for
Yes,
such a special event. Like,
it is
are you
gonna
going to
be-
try anything different?
Oh yeah. We're going to all these old castles. We're going to the Brown Castle. That's the one everybody calls Dracula's castle, but it isn't really where like Vlad the Impaler was, but it's elegant and it's haunted and it's got all this stuff. We're going to do the Endless Night Vampire Ball there. It's just a small group, but we're going to do seance and I'm going to lift the veil and see really what is there. So we're going to do there. And then our biggest paranormal investigation stuff we're going to do at the real Vlad Castle, which is almost in ruins. But we're also going to that crazy haunted forest, like most haunted in the world, next to the one in Japan. I forget what it's called. It has this name that people go in and don't come out. Haunted forest. We're going to the Witch's Pond, where Witch has been doing ritual and magic forever, and we're doing ritual there. This is adventure tour. This is even to get up to the real Vlad Dracula tour. It's 1,500 or 15,000 or 15 million steps, something like that. You know, you got to be ready for it. So it's going to be this. Like I said, this year is going to be great. That for what 125th. And again, so Father Sebastian, he's a magician like me. His magic, I met him on Ghost Adventures, one of the museum episodes. He was flat out on the floor from Bela Lugosi's mirror.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and we became fast friends just for social media. And he offered to fang me, and I'm like, well, you're cute, but I don't know. My idea of vampires isn't so good. You know, it's whether it's energetic vampires or psychic vampires, energy. But I started reading his books. I'm like, oh my God, this is elemental magic. This is exactly what I do. Some of the words are different, but it's positive. Like at our balls now around the world, all over the world. It's like we do bring the world together rituals. Vampires aren't what, especially Hollywood. You know, we know witches are misconstrued. Vampires, at least in the Sabretooth family, are. It's amazing what we do. So he also is a magician. He's more of a chaos magician, where I'm more of an elemental magician, spells and rituals. So we're doing that. It's how I lift the veil. And now we're bringing Bishop James along, the nice Catholic priest who's an exorcist, just in case. So and he's also a paranormal investigator.
I love it.
There's no just in case. I mean, really, I know. The only time I've ever gotten in trouble is because I dropped the ball, and I will not drop the ball at Bram Stoker's, castle.
Like
I mean,
that,
whatever I will.
That trip, like I looked and I mapped, like it is such an amazing trip.
Is it sold out?
No, it's not sold out.
Okay.
It is not sold out. You guys should come. I want more paranormal people. I want more gifted, like medium people. I want them to come.
Oh my God.
It's just turning into this thing.
Like, I'm ordering.
I'm like, hold on.
If you
Hold on.
any strings you can pull, I will document the whole thing. I will.
Well, I must say that we're having a contest right now. We are giving away one ticket. We are giving away the whole ticket to the thing. If you go to the Mysterious Tours,
I think I've already entered.
Have you already entered?
Entered, like-
I mean, again, it's not like winning the lottery. There's not going to be that many millions of people entering.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. So
God.
yeah, I'm
birthing
just, and
myself.
earlier that month, I'm doing an Ireland. That one sold out 2 years ago. I'm doing an Ireland tour of Game of Thrones castles.
Oh
All
wow.
the castles they used in
cool.
Ireland. So that's the first part of May. And that's just after getting back from Bosworth Castle, Bosworth something hall in the UK for the Festival of the Unexplained. It's like, this is so fun. This is, I love all my regular travels, Chicago and Kansas and Dallas, but this is cool.
Aren't you glad you're
You
not
guys-
entertaining businessmen, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. In my jet. Yeah. No,
Gosh.
yes, but I'm not corporate. Only touch the elbow. No, but you guys should come. Everybody, people listening to
Okay,
this,
I'm
you are the
entering the
right
win.
audience. It's a real paranormal investigator. And this young couple who's taking us, they're both Romanian. His real name is Vlad. They're this pretty young couple, and they're Romanian, and they know everything about everything where we're going. So this is going to be like a once in a lifetime thing.
It's so many locations. It's so
That's so
many.
cool.
Just the hotels, just the different towns. It's like, I think I cried when I read how many great things you were going. And like, I told my wife, I'm like, we got to go to the bank and tell them I'm going to meet Dracula. Like,
Get a second mortgage on the house.
exactly.
It's not that expensive. I mean, I guess that's all relative. To somebody, $1 is expensive. To $1 million, not expensive. But for what you're getting, as far as if you were going to do any other tour, it's not priced.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but to have that much extra is
amazing.
Yeah. Sort of going into locations, in The Shining, Stephen King says the hotel shines. Like almost it shined with psychic power. So of all the places you've ever been, what place would you say shines the most? And what's a place that you've kind of like never been to and you want to see how much it shines?
I like that word, shines.
Yeah, I've always found it a great way to describe stuff.
I think a word that shines, because to me, that's not all negative. That's not the Cecil Hotel. It's haunted as hell. It's all sorts of things, but I wouldn't say it shines. You walk, it's icky. One that shines is the Biltmore.
Oh.
The Los Angeles Biltmore. It's... it's haunted. There's good ghosts, bad ghosts, but it shines. It really is sparkly and this and that. But there's the dark seedy, and there's this, and there's the presidents, and big in life, big in death. I always say, if you're the quiet little human secretary, you're the quiet little ghost. If you're somebody, presidents or rock stars or gangsters, you're big in death. And anybody who went to the Biltmore in its heyday and these fancy suites, it shines. It shines.
And that's the one you've been there with a couple of groups. You've done seances, right?
Yeah, I've done seance and investigation. I did that. I've done it with TFIL like 3 or 4 times. We did the music suite, which I think rents at like $10,000 a night, and we did the presidential suite, which rents at like $25,000. It's like, what? But it's like a 4,000 square foot house, 2-level, 4 bedrooms, 3 living rooms, 14. It's like it's not a house. I mean, it is a house. But yeah, it shines and. Spooky, weird, amazing. When the phone started ringing there, when my little box said there would be nobody there, and it would do this hangout stuff. I've been working with this one kid influencer. His name is Gavin Magnus. He just turned 14. I am waiting for my kindergartner show. Him and all his 13 and 14-year-old friends. We rented one of the fancy suites there.
I think I watched that one.
Yeah, it is. It's like babies, but they're starting early. It's great. But that place shines. A place I really want to go that shines, that I think shines. Well, I really want to go to Gettysburg. For some reason, I've always been drawn there, but I don't know that shines is the right word. Yeah. I think I want to do more East Coast investigations because I haven't done a lot of that. And again, we as West Coasters don't have a lot old. We don't. Yeah. I mean, we want really old. We go to Virginia City or Nevada City or Vulture City. We go to a mining town because that's all we had here when they've already had buildings for 100 years, back east. Yeah. So I would love to find some more of those shiny old buildings, back east.
I remember talking to a stuntman that was from London, and he was saying like America seems quiet compared to walking the streets of London when you have buildings from the 1200s and we have buildings from 1900.
Yeah.
And just everything seems so loud. And Biltmore also is where they filmed Ghostbusters.
Yes.
They filmed the Slimer scene. We would have to walk through that entrance, and I think that's one, Patty, we might have to make that happen. Get you back to the Biltmore.
Let's
with
go.
That
us.
would be cool.
Let's go.
Let's go.
It has never disappointed yet.
I had no idea so
Um,
much. I won't pay it.
I won't say
No. I've got secrets for you. I guess I shouldn't tell you online, but I've got really good whole different price range secrets. You just have to rent it less than 72 hours.
Oh,
If
I
they
like
haven't rented it for $1 billion, they'll rent it for you for a fraction of $1 billion. Less
oh,
than
that
72
sounds
hours.
great.
Fraction.
And that's
And maybe
downtown.
24 hours would be less. It's just like, are you have the room tonight? You guys have to have a backup plan, I guess, if you don't get in, but that's the secret.
Oh, I've looked into it a little bit already, actually, and I think if we all split it, it won't be too bad. So. What are some goals for Patty in the next year? What are some things you've never done? What's like that dream project that you would like to get the ball rolling with?
Ooh, well, I would love a show, as everybody wants a show, but I want a show where I do what I do, kind of almost a little funnier, a little lighter, a lot more education, but still really spooky. Again, my world, that's what I would love, whatever positioning I had on it.
I don't have one yet, to be honest. I really am surprised. Like, you're such like a shining light personality.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I'm surprised that you haven't gotten such a.
Yeah, I know, it's Hollywood. It's a weird place. But that's what I would like, where people can watch it after they laugh a little, they scream, they get scared, but they know something. Afterwards they can know how to get rid of something if they don't want it, or they can know how to communicate better, or they can know something. Because there's just so much out there people don't.
If you ever have any ideas, I think I told you last time, we would be more than willing to be your support crew.
Thanks. All right, thanks.
Anywhere you want to go, we could film just from knowing how hard you work, we could produce a day in the life of Patty, and as sort of a jumping point, and then just almost like we did the old zoo, we could do walks with you, and we would, step back and just be your crew. And
you wouldn't have to do that. It's not. I don't want the Patty show. I'm a team player. I'm a girl. But yeah, that's what I would really like. And then I'm almost finished with 2 or 3 more books.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to do that again because I'm loving the teaching. I'm loving our school. And so that's it. Just keep doing what I'm doing. I love travel. I love doing the Paracons. I just found out today I booked Michigan Paracon, which is one of the funnest. You're way up in Sault Ste. Marie, almost Canada.
Yeah.
And cool.
Everybody goes to that one. And that was like the biggest theater I ever had. It was like there wasn't 1,200 people, but it was a 1,200 seat theater. And I'm like, this is cool. That's a lot of ghosts, and you're up on this huge stage and it's just you and your little mic and podium. The lights, I'm like, this is fun. This is scary fun. And then it was really funny. And all the crew and the lights, but my runner wasn't there. The person who runs the microphone to the audience. Okay, who you want to talk to your grandma? And a 1,200 seat theater is big. That's a football field. Yeah. So weirdly, that person, I don't know where he was. Cindy Keza, who I love. I think she's a brilliant medium. She goes, Patty, I'll do it for you. I'm like, so she ran like a football field for my hour and whatever. And it's kind of like having one of your idols schlepp your luggage is what I felt like. So I go, okay, Cindy, I'm doing it for you tomorrow. She was doing because it's a big one. She is doing her gallery tomorrow. I'm schlepping yours. I'm running the football field. And then I got to watch her because otherwise I'd be at like exhibitor, but got to watch her. She's freaking good.
Cindy's amazing. That's my mentor, Steve. I tried to tell you.
Oh, that's who you studied with?
Yeah.
Well, then we'll have to get her on. Going off that, Patty, who are some psychic mediums that are like kind of up and coming, or other people that you feel are your kind of camaraderie?
Oh, I don't know. As far as I don't know. I know that I know the veil is definitively lifting, and people's gifts are getting stronger, and more people are tapping into them. I'm getting in my classes. I just finished a certification, like 6-week mediumship class that people just kicked ass, from the person who was a professional medium by the end of it, from a person who's, I don't even think I know what talking to dead people is. We're literally channeling and the different kinds of mediumships, evidential, this, that, because Cindy's not trance at all. She's pure evidential.
No.
Isn't she? But she taught you trance?
No. Tony
that's a different one.
did
Okay.
trance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Mandy's trying to gobble up all the
I'm all over.
information. She's working hard.
Good.
That's why
what you
she's
have
with
to do.
us.
That is good. I am in school all the time. If I don't know something, I take it. Wait, I don't know enough about Peruvian shamanism. I'll study that for 6 months. I need to know their magic, their deities, their spirits, how they call them. I
And
might
it's
be
just
in Peru
fun
one
to
day.
explore different avenues.
And Brian can vouch for me. Being around you, Patti, is completely different. I have never felt or talked the way I talked when we were at the old zoo. I've even said on this show a couple times, I never see anything in my normal life out of my peripheral, and since the zoo, I have seen a bunch of things. So you have definitely, just being in your presence, leveled me up in a way.
Thanks. Well, I lift the veil. I've been doing it since I was 7. There's the veil, and there's lots of different ways we do things and stuff. And most mediumship isn't that. You tap into, you go through the veil. But I've been doing this thing that I literally put the shade up. So everybody at the seance table or at the mediumship gallery, their psychic ability amps up like 50%. They're seeing, smelling, tasting. So it's a good person learning to do that, to have along at your investigation, because it's, you get to see more spirits. That's why, be like, yeah, bring her, because she'll find them. They're there. So, and when we were doing it, I was, not making a big deal of it, but lifting the veil so I could see. So you tapped into it, and then you opened the gifts that you had anyway. Just, you didn't know. It's like you open the deal, but even when you close it, it doesn't close all the way.
Yeah. It was neat. It was like you would start telling me something, and I would kind of finish your story in my mind, and then you would finish it, and it'd be like, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. Like, it was a very eye-opening experience. It was fun. Sort of going into that, this has been a great question I've asked everybody and got some neat answers. Have you ever been scared during an investigation? Or have you ever gone too far and you started going, wait a minute, I'm losing control here? Like, is there, and what's your like don'ts? Like, I will never do this.
Okay. The scariest, was when somebody burst into flames at my seance. I have told this story, but I was at a house. It's in my neighborhood. Yes, spontaneous combustion, no fireplace in front. There was this house. It's in my neighborhood. It's a Hollywood Hills house. It was built by Charlie Chaplin for his girlfriend, one of his many, Mary Astor. It was a party house. And we know heavy drugs and alcohol create all sorts of stuff. It looks like it was built by Masons. It's like, oh, there's a compass drawn in the floor. There's exactly 12 windows. It's this like very spiritually energetic house built. So Charlie Chaplin lived a party house, 30s, 40s. In the 60s, the Rolling Stones manager bought it. So the Rolling Stones stayed there, Mamas and Papas, Graham Parsons, whoever else. They sold it. And then the guy who invented the real life sex doll moved into, and it was too haunted for him. And then he moved out. And then my neighbor for 7 years, Marilyn Manson, moved in.
Oh my God.
And he was my neighbor for 7 years, and then till it got too scary for him. Somebody
too scary for Marilyn Manson.
I know. And he recorded in the dirt basement. It's always the dirt basement, as you guys know, whether you're at the Black Dahlia house or the Reseda, it's always the dirt basement. Anyway, he recorded there, and something happened with his girlfriend, so he moved to the valley. But anyway, we were doing a seance. It was a documentary. And and they wanted somebody to do a seance. And so I'm like, yeah, so it's everything goes like spiral staircase, 4 level. It's just like, so I explained to people. And the one thing I always say is like, be a skeptic. Okay. Try to be open. Okay. But you got to be respect, because whether you believe it or not, it's real. Nobody likes to be disrespected, including spirits in whatever form most spirits are. But and it was a 4-camera shoot. So that was good. 4 professional cameras. And the young people around the table were young, like around 20. And the life force, if you guys know, working with people really young, more stuff happens because their life force is just past puberty up to like 20 or something. It just hit it. More things are going to happen. So anyway, this one kid though was getting a little disrespectful, just a little. And first I'm like, keep it in line. It's okay. It's okay. And then he said something really stupid, and the French doors flew open. Everybody's screaming, and then the cameras caught it. And the producer side of me is going, wow, that was good. That's like special effects. But no, I'm not fake. No one's there. I would never, ever. My reputation, that was cool. But it's building, and I'm feeling the energy and building. And it's a little thick. And then he said something again stupid, and the French doors flew open again. And oh shoot, okay, calm it down. I didn't say much though. I'm like, we got to keep this together. I did one of my techniques for balance it out. And then he said something dumb again. And then the speakers on the floor, that old school speakers, how big could your speakers get? Sitting on the floor, came on. White noise, sounded like a spirit box.
Jeez.
This white noise. Everybody scream, look back at it, turn it off. It wasn't plugged in. We looked later, but it came on. It wasn't turned on. The old-fashioned record player. So then it's building, and I'm trying to keep a hold. We're getting some pretty heavy-duty information. We're on a Ouija board. I've safely used them since until this. But we got some heavy information about the dirt patient, something that happened in like 1930. And then not him. He said something stupid, and not him, but the cameraman facing back behind him. Beautiful, my friend Laurent Malachi since said, he burst into flames. Just all of a sudden, like a V up his back burst into flames, like angel wings of fire coming up like this. Everybody's screaming. The crew, which is again 4-camera, pretty great crew, the 12 people around the table, me, everybody's screaming. Me, cool witch medium Patti becomes the medic Patti that I am. I'm like, drop and roll. I'm screaming all this stuff. And I'm like, we're done. I'm shutting the seance. We're done. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't care. No, this is the most worst, horrible thing in the life. Nobody bursts into flames on my what? This is fun. This is Spinal Tap. This is no. So anyway, but the guy who caught on fire, who is a super, super skeptic, that's me moving my doll. I'm looking for my drag. Anyway, super skeptic. He was blown away that he spontaneously combusted. His shirt burnt off him like poof. And it was cotton. It should not, like polyester or nylon. It should not have went poof, but it did. And I'm watching the blistering on his back. I'm like, oh God, no. He's like, but I'm fine. I have a sweater. I could take this burned shirt off. I'm good. I talked to the spirit. And I'm like, come on, we're not even going to get rid of you at the end. I'm not even going to close the veil like normal. They don't want it. So just please, you be good. You can't do this. He wants to finish. So, and I knew the kid who was being kind of an idiot was no longer going to be an idiot. He became the choir boy in the corner who never said another word all night. So we did finish the seance. Some of the best stuff ever. A glass flew from 8 feet out of the cupboard. I have never seen that kind of. No cameras on that one. This is when we were done, because I'm like, you don't want me to shut it down better? Nope. All right. They tried to push that cameraman off the cliff. I made him a mojo bag. It's all okay. But the coolest thing, what makes this amazing cool thing, I'm flying with my dragon. Anyway, where'd it go? All right. Anyway, he called me like 3 weeks later. He goes, moved on. That's me. He goes, I'm just looking for something. Anyway, he goes, Patti, look in my back where the blistering had come on his back. It literally looked like he had got a tattoo of a dragon, the scarring. Open mouth, sharp teeth, winged head into the shape of a serpent. And that is the exact energy I called in to shut down the seance. I work dragon magic. It's crossroads magic. It's chaos magic. That's who I call in my corners and my elemental corners. Protection of a dragon. There's nothing like it. So I'm looking at this scarred dragon. I'm like, Oh my God, you have a tramp stamp of a dragon on your back. That is about the coolest thing I ever thought. And he thought it was too. He was just so intrigued by this. He was
Oh
so
my
intrigued. Actually,
Wow.
I hope they do it. They haven't done it.
Are there
He wrote-
photos of this, of like the burn marks on his back? Is there photos anywhere?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I don't know where he was so, yeah, I know there's one place when some of the fire is that I know I could get to it because he was doing a crowdfund. He was so intrigued. He actually wrote a script about a TV medium who does every reality show, basically about me, and then doing yet another reality show. And then a portal opens and then it turns into a horror film, really scary and really funny. Just what I like. But he wrote it with Stephen Norrington, the guy who wrote League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and the guy who wrote the Blade series. So they haven't done it yet because he keeps getting all these other films. But I hope they do. But I sat down with him for 5 hours at my dining room table. I wanted to read. I go, Laurent, you can't say that. He's like, Patti, you said that. I go, I know I said that. That does something to the energy. It opens a veil. You don't want to be one of those cursed horror films, do you? Where all the actors die at 27 in a bus car. Those happen. Spirits, energies, whatever, ghosts do not know the difference in an actor reading something from a line if you're using sounds. Well,
Absolutely.
it's an actor reading a script versus somebody doing it. That's what happens. These horror films need professionals on it who know what sounds and words and chants and everything means. So we fixed it to make it all meaningless stuff. It sounds just as weird, goofy, scary, whatever, but it's not anything that's going to cause it to be the next big haunted horror film. So I hope they do it. I don't know. It's like, who's going to play me? I don't know. Somebody young, somebody cute. I don't know. But they haven't yet. But that was the wildest, that like spontaneous combustion. That's crazy.
That is
And
insane.
then once
That's
in my
wild.
own house, once in my own house, I was shooting this thing with an Associated Press, a crime thing, and we were doing the Black Dahlia. We were at my house. My house is warded, but I did it up wrong. I was with my then producer, and I didn't set the veil right. I did call the guardians in right. And she thought it was her friend, and it was a Black Dahlia thing we were doing. Dr. George Hotel pushed me so hard into the back of the chair, my dining room chair. I went, I heard the crack.
The guy from the Black Dahlia, the spirit.
Yeah. The guy,
Wow.
The doctor. I hear this crack. I am sliding down to the floor. My producer's like, are you okay? I'm like, nope. I'm not. And I always say I'm okay. I could have my head severed and I mean, like, it's a flesh wound. I'm okay. We can go on. But I'm like, nope. I slid down. I had to go to urgent care that he had, with nobody behind me, pushed me so hard that it ripped all the cartilage off my ribs and floating ribs.
Wow.
Cartilage removed from bone, hit so hard into your chair. So yeah,
That was just your friends and you got started without just sort of hanging out.
This is before filming, before the Associated Press reporter, before the crew came. Just my producer and I, who she wanted to talk to a friend of hers on the board that we did all the time, but I didn't do my opening. I didn't get it right.
Ooh. Oops. Oh, that's scary.
The deeper you go, the deeper you go.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Do you ever have like when you're trying to make breakfast? Do you ever have something trying to make contact with you, and you've got to kind of almost interrupt your private life?
Nope. I have an on-off switch. I created it when I was little.
Oh, good.
And that is my saving grace, that I do not want to go to the grocery store and be Long Island medium. Your mother wants to talk to you. I think it's unethical to give anybody advice if they haven't asked for it. You know, if some spirit was hitting me on the head, you have to tell them this, you have to tell them this. I would ask their permission before I told them. But I have an on-off switch. It's in the witchy world. We have this side of the besom, that side of the veil. You live your mundane life, you live here, and it makes both stronger. It makes your psychic side insanely stronger to shut it down. Complete opposites. Like after seances, I say, eat salt, ground, be stupid, say silly things. And it makes both sides better. So my whole life, and as I get turned off, nothing comes near me. I am as unpsychic, unempathic as the most flatlined person. And when you turn it on, I'll even go. Now I've got dimmer switches. You know, once you figure it out, then you create the dimmer switches in the middle and you can go somewhere. But no, I'm not. I once something flubbled down from across the street and kind of got in me possessed. I have one happy ghost that lives here and she gets a little mischievous besides my bell. But no, I turn it off. I don't want to be a crazy person. I don't want to be one of those crazy mediums ever.
That's just
that's fair.
Do you guys? We're hitting the 9 o'clock. Do you guys have any questions for Patti? Go ahead, Mandy.
Can you tell me about your dolls?
Yes.
I love it.
This is Belle. And that is Belle. She's a 100-year-old German doll. She was sent to somebody in Belgium. This doll had made her sick for 3 years. And she had seen me on Ghost Adventures or one of the spinoffs, I think Deadly Possessions, doing a seance with Peggy the doll, who's a way more haunted, way more scary, has given 2 people heart attacks. And, Peggy, she cusses at me when I go to the museum now. So she had seen me do Peggy and she figured I could handle Belle. She sent her to me. This is how strong Belle was. This is several years ago. I had never, ever even done one Facebook Live before, not one. I'm like, well, I'm going to open her on Facebook Live. This is weird. I don't know what this is. I got 300 watches. I got 1,000 watches. 50,000 people watch me open Belle. Not me. It was her. Not me. 50,000, 49,000, whatever. It's still on there, this unwrapping of Belle. But there was something dark. I did not let the sun set before I got that out. It wasn't a human spirit. And as I got it out, then this beautiful little girl spirit came in. Oh. So that's Belle. She moves. She's been caught on camera 1,000,000 times, moving her eyes, moving 1,000,000 times. Now, this one isn't. This was sent to my friend named Cheryl, who she thought, she didn't know if it was haunted. She got it, at an antique store, thrift store, garage sale, but she thought it could be haunted, and that Belle needed a dolly. Yeah, I thought that was good, and she's never had a spirit. But last week, I was teaching a psychic protection class at my school for paranormal, for whoever, and all of a sudden, this is how I talk. I pay attention. All of a sudden, this doll. I'm faking it. Like this.
Yeah, she creeped into the frame.
And I didn't pay. Nobody noticed it in the moment. Somebody said they did, but they didn't pay attention. They thought somebody moved it. There was nobody else home. My hands were like, couldn't have. I've tried to debunk it. Nothing I could do. Doesn't make her jiggle. But it still wasn't in the doll. I thought I don't see a spirit. But a friend of mine blew up it's just my Zoom class. Saw a dark shadow come across my little witch sign, come through hair, and that's when she moved. So it was something else got in the doll for a minute.
Wow.
That's wild. That's also kind of exciting and
it is. It's fun.
Fun
living with spirits. Only got to keep in control, like children and fairies and spirits.
The house with the spontaneous combustion. That's next to you.
Now it's in my neighborhood. Yeah.
Do you know who lives there now?
Yeah.
Ring their doorbell and go in there.
Yeah, no, I can't. Actually, somebody else famous has bought it, and luckily they're not tearing it down or anything like that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I've
tried to film there. After I tried to get Ghost Adventures in, the guy who owned it. After we did that, would not let anybody film there. And now somebody new owns it. I haven't met them yet. I did send them this little email going, "Hi, welcome to the neighborhood. My name is Patti. I used to be president. It's our 1,200 houses in the Hollywood. President of the Hollywood Dell, and just want to welcome you. And I don't want to sound weird or anything, but do you know the history of your house?" And they never wrote me back. I tried to sound so normal. They may not have got it. It was just like a public email. They may not have got it, but I haven't met them yet or talked to them. I hear they're very nice.
That's cool.
But I still want to get by.
Go ahead, Brian.
It just occurred. A couple of things occurred to me. One, I've never participated in a seance.
You guys have to. We'll have to do one.
And two, I would think it would be awesome to do an episode where we did a seance with Patti. It's just a suggestion.
Let's do it.
We'll get the Biltmore and we'll do a seance.
Yes. Mandy at one side, me at the other. We'll anchor.
You got to step up, Mandy.
I'm here.
No pressure.
And when I say I've never been a seance, I mean never a real one.
All right.
Wow.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Yes. Patti, you are the most respectable and the most professional person we have ever worked with. You're always down to do anything. You always immediately answer me. You are one of the fastest people to text me back. You are so friendly and you are such a joy to be around. thank you for being our friend, and thank you for being just such a genuine, true person. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Now, everybody, go to Romania to Mysterious Tours. I've posted it. I
I'm
want you
gonna
all,
make it happen.
everybody. I want your whole team in Romania. I want everybody watching in Romania. Let's fill it up with paranormal people.
Hell yeah.
Let's do. Maybe we'll do it like a Kickstarter and beg everyone to fund us.
Enter the
It's only like
contest.
$1,200 for all of us, I think. I don't know. All right. Thank you so much again, Patty.
Thank you,
Patty.
guys.
Thank you,
Have
Patty.
a great night.
For,
Bye.
for everyone watching, please subscribe, please follow. Go to Patty's, all her social media. Follow her. She will educate you in her world. Thank you so much, team. Thank you, Patty. We're all going to get together. We're going to do that seance pretty soon.
Yes.
Yes.
And I barely even touched on Paraflix. Thank you so much for Paraflix.
Paraflix.com. Yes. Well, you can see fabulous people like Hollywood paranormal detectives. Yeah.
And I don't know if you've heard, I've already told Natalie that this new season of this group is a Paraflix exclusive. We're kind of,
we love exclusives. Yeah.
if Paraflix will put their heart into us, we're going to put our heart into Paraflix, and we're going to put our faith in them. So yeah, season 4 with adding Emily and Mandy and keeping old me and Brian back, Paraflix exclusive, and we will definitely have our guest Patti Negri in an investigation as soon as we can.
Okay, it's a deal. I'll hold you to it.
All right, Patty. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Patty.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
What the gosh!
I love her so much.
She's awesome.
She's amazing.
Biltmore seance with Patty, I think, is a must.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I can't wait to meet her in person. That'd be so awesome. Like, she seems like such a great energy to be around.
She absolutely is. She changes the environment.
I can tell.
Well, we don't have to all drop off, but let's end the show. For everyone who watched and came and joined us, I didn't look at the comments because I was listening to Patty's amazing tales.
Yeah.
Please follow, subscribe, go back and watch all of our old videos. Go back and watch, listen to these podcasts while you're at work tomorrow and get to know us, get to know all of our friends. Next week, we have got Steve Brote.
Yes. Steve
Brote. And then we got more to come. The week after that, it's Groundhog Day. I should be posting these things up. Next week, I'll show you now, we got Steve Brote.
Woohoo.
And the week after that, it's Groundhog Day. We're going to talk about time slips and paranormal-inspired, very common events. Please stay tuned in, and thank you for watching HPD Live.
Bye.